Shalom, family. Many of you have probably seen or heard about the so-called black pastors that are endorsing Donald Trump. They met with him. At first there was going to be a public press conference, but then they canceled the press conference and decided to have a closed door meeting. Now, many of these pastors came out of this meeting and they had a bunch of lunacy to pass on to everybody else. And I came to this conclusion, which I had already come to this conclusion a long time ago, but this just really sealed it for me. It's time for our people to get out of these goddamn churches. You see, the damnation of the Most High is up on these places. These people are enemies of Yah's people. You see, these so-called black pastors, you should consider them as enemies anytime. And I'm not talking about all of them, because we did have some of them who came forward. Jamal Bryant was one of them. He came forward pretty much saying, look, this man done proved himself to be a racist who don't care nothing about black people. And if you go to this meeting, I'm calling you out, you know. And so he did call out a bunch of these pastors, and many of them have come forward even after the meeting to talk about what was shared in the meeting and what was discussed. And it all boiled down to this: they ain't talking nothing but trash. Anytime you got a so-called black pastor who could open his ignorant, dumb mouth and say that Donald Trump is not racist, I don't know what planet you living on. I've looked at a number of these interviews, and one of them, Roland Martin interviewed this one guy, and it was just almost very entertaining to watch and to listen to the sickness coming out of this man's mouth as Roland Martin questioned him about very real issues and subjects and things dealing with the so-called black community. All I heard coming out of this puppet's mouth was, well, we discussed this and we discussed that, and it all boils down to black people got to learn how to do something for themselves. You see, now I can agree with him on that one issue, that we do have to learn how to do things for ourselves, but that was not the question. The question was, when everybody else come to the table with these politicians, when the Latinos come, when the white folk come, and when these white pastors and all other groups and women's groups, when everybody come and sit before these politicians and they want to know, what are you going to do to help our cause? But you have this coon pastor, his thing was, we don't need to be looking to what people are going to do for us. You see, that was really just a cop-out that to say that this meeting was absolutely fruitless. So what were you meeting for? You see, he wanted to meet with y'all so y'all can endorse him. If you have no expectations of nothing being done for our people, then what the hell did you meet with them for? Huh? What did you meet with them for? It was all so that they can get you all to come and rally at your churches with your members and tell your members, look, vote for me. That's all it was for. If you don't have no expectations, and see, I don't have no expectations of them doing anything for us, because they haven't in 400 years. Everybody else has gotten reparations. Everybody else get a nice big chunky piece of the pie, but that is not happening for us. So I don't have any expectations, but I'm not trying to how can I say this? I'm not trying to give any weight to what that pastor was saying. I'm just trying to show you that that's really a diversion. You know, it's trying to make it seem like, oh, what can we do for ourselves, blah, blah, blah. That's really just a diversion. He's trying to divert your attention away from the facts or the questions that Roland Martin had, which were, how are we going to deal with these issues? How are we going to deal with, and one of the issues in particular that was, to me, very clear that something should be done about was the violence against our people by the police, white police officers in particular. And this man didn't have nothing to say about that. I don't want to hear about no promises these people make, because this guy done already showed us that he supports the police officers and their actions against all citizens. You see, he already showed that. So if you think that him making a quick little promise, and you know, the meeting wasn't even, the majority of the meeting wasn't even about any black issues. He kept talking about Donald Trump is a businessman and he's going to help America get back up on their feet. He don't need to be the president to do that. Are you that dumb? I'm going to tell you right now, the Bible did say that the Most High was going to take the wise men out of Israel. And I know that that's not across the board. I know that the Most High have more than enough men that have not bowed to the image of Baal. I know this because when, you know, one of the prophets of old, or one of our people of old, I don't know if he was a prophet or not, but when he said, am I the only one? I believe he was a prophet. And the Most High said, I have 7,000 that ain't bowed to the image of Baal, you see. So I know that it's not every last brother, but for the most part, in general, the Most High said he's going to take the wise men out of Israel. And that is certainly what we see happening when you see these cooned out pastors. And they weren't all men either. They were women too, women pastors and all of this as well. When you have these people who call themselves the leaders in the black community because they throw up these churches and they got these mega messes all over the place, and they collecting your tithes and offering, and you still go and support them. If one of these preachers, just say if I was going to a church, I don't attend none of these raggedy churches full of sin and full of manipulation and witchcraft. I would never be a member of no mess like that ever again. But anyway, if I were a member of one of these hell dens, then there would be nothing one of these pastors could say to me to convince me that that man is for my people. That just goes to show you just how ignorant our people are. Not how ignorant they've become, because they've always been this ignorant. This is why the Most High said, my people are stupid. It's right there in the word, y'all. I'm not making this up. He said, my people are stupid. And if you have a King James Bible, it says, my people are sottish. And we see that every day. You got people stomping for Trump and cheering for Hillary. And now you got these mega pimps out here going to hear what Donald Trump has to say just so they can come back and tell the sheep, oh, it's okay, vote for him. Don't you all understand that these people don't give a damn about us? It is very clear and very obvious, but yet we are so ignorant. It's appalling. And I'm going to tell you right now, this stuff, if this don't weigh heavy on your heart, then I don't know what to say for you. I don't know what planet you're living on. But when we have our leadership that is trying to lead us so clearly to the paths of hell and to the paths of destruction, to get in bed with the devil, that's really what these people are saying do. This one cooned out pastor, when they were coming out of their so-called meeting, Trump was standing right behind him, and it looked like Omarosa was standing off to the side too. You know, she was on his show, You're Fired, whatever that show. I don't even remember the name of that garbage, but anyway, she was on that show. And so as this one black pastor or preacher or whatever he called himself was standing there, and they were asking him questions about Donald Trump, he said, no, I don't believe Donald Trump is racist. This man is not racist. He's this and he's that. I said to myself, look at this ignorant Negro talking. Look at him. How you going to sit back and say, after a 2-hour meeting with this man, you're going to determine, you're going to wipe out everything that he have said and done to prove that he's racist. And you're going to let a few fluffy words that he spoke in your ignorant ear, you're going to allow that to cause you to make the determination that he is not racist, but his actions have proven otherwise. Have we become that simple-minded and stupid to where we allow somebody who got a gleaming devil in his eye to say just a few words, make a few empty promises, and that was all it took for you to come and endorse this man and say that he is not racist? Black folk, we are in trouble. If you sitting up in these churches and you under the leadership of these ministers, it's time for you to get out of these goddamn churches, because they are leading you into damnation. The Most High Yah, the Most High Elohim, God, whatever you call him, he has damned these churches. They are going to be condemned. That's why he says, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her punishments and her plagues. You see, the Most High is going to punish this whore of Babylon, this church system, this wicked government system. The Most High is going to judge all of this. And if you sit up in these places and you support this mess, you support this foolishness, you support this nonsense, then whatever the Most High pours out on this and you're in the way, you got it coming too. Because his word actually said that that's what he's going to do. He says if you found joy to him, you're going to be thrust through as well. That's the word, y'all. Those of you who sit up in these churches and you tote your Bible around and you want to talk about this love, this, forgive, that, and all this other crazy nonsense, you better get a little bit deeper in the book than just the New Testament. You better go a little bit further back and determine what it is the Most High really wants you to do. Because if you are supporting this foolishness, if you are out here telling our people that they need to be voting for Donald Trump. Now, first of all, I don't believe that any of these politicians are for us, okay? We got a half black man in office who ain't did a doggone thing for us. And so you think that after 400 years of tyranny, 400 years of oppression, 400 years of persecution, that all of a sudden this man with the big toupee on his head gonna come and magically start doing something for black people? If you think that, you are really just stupid. You are one ignorant person if you think Donald Trump has any interest in doing anything for you. Anything for us as a community, as a people. Hillary, none of them. None of them have any plans on doing anything. As a matter of fact, they probably got plans on making things worse for you. This man, had a Black Lives Matter protester in one of his meetings. And he told the white people that attacked this black man to get him out of here, and that he deserved the beatdown that he got. And yet you got these ignorant black pastors, preachers and bishops, so-called church leaders, pimps in the pulpit, mega mess ministers, telling you that this man ain't racist and telling you that he got plans to do things better for us. But when asked about what y'all talked about in the meeting as it relates to us, y'all didn't have much to say at all. And the one that really got me was when they talked about the violence against our people, and the question came, I believe it was Jamal Bryant, who asked the other preacher that was sitting next to him cooning right there on, was it MSNBC or CNN, one of those stations? They all the same to me. But when he asked him, how come none of y'all ain't come down here marching for our people when they getting gunned down in the streets, when the people got shot up in the churches and Freddie Gray got killed and Tamir Rice and Michael Brown and countless others? Where the hell were these black preachers then? They were sitting up in their mansions and their comfy, cozy pulpits collecting your tithes and offerings because they done told you in so many words by their actions that they don't care about you either. But yet you want to keep on filling up these assemblies and being deceived. And when you have people trying to give you the real word and telling you who you are, telling you that we are the real people of the Bible, that we are the Israelites, you are so cooned out that you don't want to even accept that. But you want to keep on supporting these people who are leading you down the paths of destruction. It's better to stay out of this mess than to get involved and put your endorsement on any of this foolishness. I, for one, I've talked to a number of people that are just getting so sick of our people and their foolishness and their ignorance, but we rise up against each other so easily. It don't take much. It don't take much. All you need is a black person to have a little bit more than you, and you conjure up in your mind a reason why you should hate them. But then we have our enemies who have been beating the hell out of us for centuries. And I'm constantly getting these cooned out black people coming on my videos telling me that I need to love and forgive and all this other stuff, and you ain't even reading it in context. There was never a time in history where the Most High told us to expend all of our love and compassion and forgiveness for people who were coming into our lands and destroying us. You sound like a fool talking like that. Show me in the Bible where the Most High told the Israelites to forgive and love and pray for the Canaanites, the Amalekites, the Philistines, you know, all of our ancient enemies. Show me in the scripture where the Most High told David to, right before you kill Goliath, I want you to drop to your knees and pray for him, tell him how much you love him and forgive him, then bust his head open. You see how ignorant we sound as a people? Everybody else protect themselves, everybody else support themselves and stand up for their rights and come together and unify for the betterment of their own people. But we the only ignorant people on the planet who fight against every other black group. You got African Americans hating on Africans. I mean, I know Africans ain't no angels. Ain't nobody trying to say that. But every other white European nation, they come together to unify, to do things for each other. The Arab nations. I got this crazy cat fighting with my ankle here. But anyway, every other nation knows how to come together, but we don't. We the only other people say we need to unify with the whole world. All lives matter. Ain't nobody said all lives don't matter. The fact that there was a Black Lives Matter shows you that the world is telling you you don't matter. That's why we had to come up with that hashtag in the first place, because everybody is showing us and proving to us that they don't give a damn about us. You see? And so we're joining right into their little campaign of all lives matter. Well, to them, their lives have always mattered, right? Yours is the one that don't matter. And that's why they came up with this. I've seen so many so-called black people coming against Black Lives Matter. I say to myself sometimes, I wish there was a way that I can start a whole new race called the caramel people, because this whole black stuff is just a big mess. You got black people, so-called black people, that are so ignorant to where all they care about is their enemies, but they don't care about their own people. Black people will take a grudge or a hate to the grave for their own relatives, cousins, aunts, brothers, sisters, mom, dad. You will take that hate to the grave. But the minute somebody come and bust your head open and blow one of your kids' brains out, you the first one on television talking about how much you love and forgive this person. I don't know how many times I can say it, but this ignorance is just really starting to get to a lot of people, and I'm one of them. This ignorance is just really off the charts. And I'm going to tell you right now, if any of you decide to go to the polls and you think it's a good idea that Trump be the president of this country, or that Hillary is the president of this country, I already know ain't none of them. If I had my choice, I would vote for Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse. That would be my choice. But all of y'all who are out here pushing that black people support these hellions, you are part of the problem, and you are causing our people to go backwards. If ain't nobody did nothing for us in all this time and racial tensions are getting worse, what makes you think that things are going to change and that these people that are making these false mouth-flapping promises are going to do anything for us? Come on now, people, get a grip. Get a grip. Get your heads out of the sand and start thinking. It's time for us to start thinking and stop being so simple-minded. Why are we so simple-minded as a people? We believe everything liars tell us. They have been lying for centuries and we still believe it. What is wrong with us? Some of our people, these black pastors, they got their heads so far up in Donald Trump's insides to where they can literally become one of his organs. How foolish can we be as a people? Okay, I think I'm done talking about this nonsense. I think it's time that, you know, if our people ain't gonna unify, we need to find us a small group of people who will, and I mean that, a small group who will, and say forget everybody else and let them figure this thing out on their own. Now, as far as the word, we're going to keep on sounding the alarm and keep on doing that, but all this other stuff, it's just getting so tiresome to even keep dealing with it. It's getting so tiresome. Eventually, our people are going to wake up because they ain't going to have no choice, because the trouble going to be right at your door. And the same person that you stomping for, he's going to be one of the ones sending people out to come and get your black behind. And then you're going to say, oh, I see the light, but it's going to be too late then. Okay, with that, I'm going to say shalom, people.